Thanks for tuning in. In Leavenworth, police say a bar fight has turned into a homicide investigation. 52-year-old David Thompson died this morning from the injuries he got over the weekend. Fox 4's Rob Lowe is here now working for you with what led up to the bar fight. Rob?
Well, Phil, this sounds like a case where alcohol and ego proved to be a deadly combination. Now one man is dead and two others are likely to be charged with the crime. It was 2 a.m. Saturday, closing time at Fathead's Bar, when the last customers emptied out into the back alleyway. 52-year-old David Thompson was there with his wife when police say Thompson told two other customers, both men in their 20s, to leave their beers behind.
There was some discussion about several folks being outside of the bar with open bottles of beer, which is prohibited.
Leavenworth Police Chief Pat Kitchens says the two younger men may have been in no mood for lecturing.
I think alcohol was involved, whether or not it was a principal motivation. Certainly there was alcohol involved.
Kitchens says a cab driver and a barroom employee witnessed part of the attack along with Thompson's wife. After the fight, Thompson was taken by air flight to the University of Kansas Hospital with critical head injuries. He died this morning, turning a battery investigation into a homicide.
I think everybody feels terrible. I think everybody feels terrible about what happened to Mr. Thompson. You know, it's a tragedy that might have been avoided.
Police know who their two suspects are, but say they're not likely to be charged until sometime later this week. Rob Lowe, Fox 4 News, working for you.
Okay, here in this video. Yeah, this is sort of a happen again video there. What'd you see there? Yeah. A guy gets himself killed just because he told him to leave the beers behind. That's right. So the two young punks attack him, okay? And beat the living hell out of him. You know, it took two of them to beat him, of course, you know, because they were so tough that it took two of them. And beat him just because he told them to leave their beers behind. So he goes outside the bar at closing time with his wife, and he tells these two guys to leave their beers behind. That was enough to kill somebody for, right? Yep, that was justified, right? Not. The reason I showed you this is because I want you people to see once again how you're treating one another. That's right. Look how you treat one another. And you know something else? I got something else to show you, yeah. I want to show you, you know, we treat each other like complete dirt out here. You bring in makeup, make your own killers, okay? And there's something that, well, TFL, I've always said TFL starts when you're young. But so does our ability to treat each other as dirt. That now starts nowadays when we're young, too. So, here's a news report of a little boy who was treated like dirt by his dad. Well, the little boy did the unthinkable. But it's because of our ability to treat each other like shit, isn't it? So, watch this, and I'll be right back with you.
A New Mexico mother says she is ready for a battle. Prosecutors go forward in charging her 11-year-old with murder.
It's been over a year since Benjamin Hilburn shot and killed his father in Belen County. The boy says he was being punished harshly by his dad. Now, in this Target 7 exclusive, Action 7 News Anchor Royal Day talks with the boy's mother, who updates us on her son's health and her efforts to keep him out of the courtroom.
August of 2009, a little boy calls 911 from inside this Belen home to say he shot his own father.
He's bleeding very badly. He fell asleep. Oh, I hope he lives.
That frightened voice is then 10-year-old Benjamin Hilburn. He told dispatchers he grabbed his father's rifle and pulled the trigger.
You know how this happened? Huh? You know how this happened? I was over my head. I shot him in the back of the head.
Benjamin is now 11 and is in the custody of his mother, Monica Albear.
How do you help an 11-year-old, get through something like that?
A lot of understanding.
Benjamin is homeschooled. Albear says he has tough days, but he's okay and is a good kid with a good sense of humor. He's also a child who's charged with first-degree murder.
About a year ago, the state did its own mental evaluation of Benjamin, and he was found incompetent to stand trial. District Attorney Lemuel Martinez, whose office brought on the charges, says his office has hired a psychologist to examine Benjamin and has been doing so for the past few months. The results are pending, but if the 11-year-old is found competent to stand trial, it'll then be up to a judge to make the final decision. If they move forward and prosecute him for this crime, are you ready for that?
All I can say to that is that they better be ready. I will not be quiet. I will not sit quietly. and allow anyone to prosecute my child.
Albear's attorney says the family law firm is ready for a fight.
I just don't think that this witch hunt, if you will, should culminate with somebody trying to go after an 11-year-old boy.
Albear blames the New Mexico Children, Youth, and Families Department for what happened. Albear claims her ex-husband, Brian Hilburn, who at the time had custody of the kids, was abusive. She says she made calls, and so did professionals like counselors and a therapist to CYFD begging for help. She says her son Benjamin even picked up the phone.
Well,
Albear believes if CYFD would have listened,
I think there would have been a life saved.
CYFD confirms before the shooting it had a significant history with the Hilburn family, but couldn't say much more, stating it doesn't comment on specific cases.
Is there any guilt that you have? Is there anything that you would have done differently? There's nothing I could have done differently. I tried.
People think Ben should have never picked up a gun and shot his dad.
Dad shouldn't have had guns out.
Right now, Albear's focus is her children. She says she won't abandon Benjamin, even though she claims the state did.
What do you want for Ben and his future?
I want him to be able to grow up without having to always look at what happened.
Do you think that that's possible?
I think it's possible. I think it's possible. He deserves at least that much.
Royal Day, KO18, Action 7 News.
The DA says Benjamin cannot.
Yeah, so what you see there, that's right. You know, I agree with the mother in this and the prosecutors. The boy should be let go in this situation. After all, he was 10 years old when his dad was beating the living hell out of him, wasn't he? That's right, because his dad was tough, he was big, he was a man. That's how you treat your little children, right? You beat the fuck out of them, torment them so bad that they flip out and they do something unthinkable, like what you've seen happen here. And now Daddy's not doing it no more because he had the ability to treat other people like shit. That's right, this is a child being treated like complete dirt by his parent. And not only that, he'd go to school and be treated like complete dirt too, right? If he didn't group think and think like a sheep, if he didn't dress the way you told him to dress, if he didn't walk the way you told him to walk, if he didn't talk the way you told him to talk, he didn't do everything just particular for the group mentality thinking, then he'd be labeled, picked on, and bullied, wouldn't he? That's right. And here's a boy that probably was getting bullied and picked on at home on top of being at school. And, well, he took all he could take, and he done something. And, well, maybe he shouldn't have been doing it. But I guess like the mother said, the guns shouldn't have been out to where the kid could have gotten a hold of the gun. But, just the same, when did it start? It started when he was a child. That's right. Started abusing and treating somebody the same way you wouldn't want to be treated yourself as a child. I can understand a child might get in trouble and you have to discipline the child, but I guess when a child has to go to the resorts of doing what you've seen here, that's because it was no longer discipline, it was abuse. That's because it wasn't punishment, it was abuse. That's because you people seem to think you can treat anybody the way you want to treat them and there's no consequences in your actions. You think destroying another human being's emotions and feelings and inside and tearing them up on the inside is no crime. You think that's worse than physical violence. No, physical violence, you wind up dead, you don't feel a thing no more. Physical violence a lot of time heals and goes away. Mental abuse doesn't heal and go away. Mental abuse follows you through your entire life. Treating each other the way you don't want to be treated. 90% of you out there, when you treating somebody the way you know you don't want to be treated yourselves, when it happens back onto you, you're the first one that wants to go fight. Now, why do you want to go fight? Because somebody done onto you what you do onto them? What, you think you're above them? That you got the right to do onto somebody else that they don't got a right to do onto you? No, you're not. Nobody's above nobody. I don't give a shit who you are, neither. I don't give a shit if you're a president, king, or pope. I don't give a fuck how much money you got. You're not above nobody else. You want to think you're above somebody else, you're totally wrong. That's what's wrong in this world. Everybody wants to be above somebody else, better than somebody else. And you treat each other like shit. And you can see how this dad treated his own child. The exact way the dad would not want to be treated that way when he was a kid, but this kid, Well, it comes to show that everybody has a snapping point. Okay? Everybody has a snapping point. Even this little child had a snapping point. And should he be prosecuted for his dad's murder? Well, you know, that's a tough call. But I really don't think so. Okay? And the reason I say that is because I do understand. You people treat each other like complete fucking dirt. The way you wouldn't want to be treated yourselves. And when then you're calling yourself a dad or a parent of a child, what? Look at our society. Men and women breaking up everywhere. Tons and tons of children minus a parent. That's right. Being shit on and dumped on by their own parents and by their own family members. That's right. On top of going out in society and being shit on and dumped on and shit on and dumped on and shit on and dumped on because it's a dog-eat-dog world where nobody cares about nobody but themselves. That's right. And wants to treat everybody the exact same way they wouldn't want to be treated themselves. And then you wonder why this happens. So here's it happened again where we have a guy who gets beat up and killed by two young punks, all because he told them to leave their beers behind. So that was grounds to kill somebody. Yeah. And then what do we have? We have a little boy who, well, took care of his problem, didn't he? That's right. Took his dad right out of the picture, didn't he? His dad won't be abusing him or anybody else ever again, because now it's the end game. That's right. And the end game is going to continue to happen as long as you people continue to act like little children and treat other people the way you do not want to be treated yourselves. It's fucking sickening. You can catch the stories and links to where I got these underneath this video. To the next video, you have